and out about their haircuts.
Sure.
I lost my hair when I was 16 to 17 years old.
That's heavy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man. And you know, the funny thing is that I've learned to overcome it. And I've had a much, I'm much more empowered to be myself now.
Well, I admire that.
Oh, no, it's the else bothers me.
Bottom line, I'm begging anybody out there, before you go and get surgery, before you walk into these hair club system places, I'm telling you right now, I am $20,000 in the hole, and 10 years of stress, the last 3, an absolutely horrifying existence of stress and pain. And I can promise you, the stress of this hairpiece is 1,000 times more than I would have ever felt if I had just been confident with who I am, dealt with the fact that these are the cards I've been dealt, and deal with them, and just shave my head. And honestly, like Spencer said, not everyone's there, but that's where I'm at.
And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality?
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. 888-659-3727 is a toll-free number. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat, not literally, but something's going on. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry that we are a few minutes late. I was just reading our Facebook group, and nice comment from Dr. Prasanga asking where his IHS and AHLA, I guess, they call them point of purchase stands, but they're actually just a seal because there's no purchasing going on, but that's what they're called. And I just explained that Dr. Benham actually made his own. Now, we normally don't provide them, but maybe I'll start making them. We have to somehow, it has to somehow have a date on it so that it's very clear that, members. See, the thing about the IHS and the American Hair Loss Association, if for some reason we get consistent complaints, we have to remove those members. So for them to be able to display any type of a seal or any type of a placard or any type of a point of purchase product, which again, it's only called a point of purchase, but it's just that cardboard thing. We have to have some sort of a verification process so that consumers can verify that they are still members or that they were ever actually members. Because the problem that I receive, and I've been dealing with for a long time, is there are many people who are in the bigger organization who have essentially stolen our shit, steal our seals, and utilize them on their websites. And in some cases, we found out that at least one was doing a point of service or point of purchase type of thing as well. So, Dr. Prasanga, I think it's a great idea. We do and did provide brochures for the IHS for a very long time that have to be updated. There are a few guys who still order the brochures. I think we're going to start to put them online. But again, they're going to have to be verified by year so that consumers know that you're actually an active member and still an accepted member of the IHS. So we'll figure it out, whether it's I don't know, maybe I can put some sort of a hologram on there, Joe, or something that consumers can see.
Like a talking head hologram? Or
yeah, it'll just pop up and say, hey, he's a member, and then pop back down. No, something, like you do, for money or whatever, so that it's verifiable.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way, because too many of these mother effers steal they want those credentials.
That's right.
Again, I'm talking about the applications, and I read some last week. I just got forwarded today's application. 7 people applied to the IHS today. When I'm telling you guys, I'm going to come on here with like a raccoon coat and a fedora when I take all the money, and then just hand over the baton to Joe.
I just had that visual, man. And just it's just warm fuzzy. I love it.
Total pimp.
It works.
Just pimping away. But anyway, I think Dr. Prasanga, I don't know if you're listening because it's late you're there, but I think that's a good idea, and we're gonna start to provide that stuff. Now, the thing is, like, other organizations, they give you like a thing to hang on your wall that's signed and stamped and all that shit, and as long as you pay your dues, you get to keep that. The problem with our group is we remove people, we kick people out, so we can't give you anything that's permanent. As I say in my life, everything's on loan, people. And that goes for IHRS membership. As long as the members are conducting themselves in a professional manner, or, but supporting our truth in advertising mission, and the fact that we believe that surgery is a last resort and are really treating patients well, then of course they can stay as part of the IHRS. But I have removed physicians, not necessarily based on their poor outcomes, but just because they called me up and said, hey, what's the deal? This guy called me up and he talked him out of surgery on the show. And I'm like, dude, that's what you signed up for. And then I get an earful, and then I'm like, sorry, hang up the phone, and it's over. And
bye-bye.
And that's not to be obnoxious. That is to, and believe me, I want that money. I like it. I like the money. I do. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with liking money.
I'm a capitalist.
At all.
But the only way I believe that we can really do well in this field and make good money in this field is by providing people with the truth. And for those who want to support that truth, they can come on board. Now, there's going to be a big shift in the industry very soon. A lot of things are happening. Sadly, the shift has been a downward devolution, of this field. A lot of the people... Sorry?
Like it. The devolution.
Yeah. Downward devolution is kind of, repetitive, but it's a devolution. It's devolving. And, everyone is scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. Well, we figure it out. We've already figured it out. And there is a group of people who are going to be working with me and the IHRS and, organizations like FUE Europe and a few other organizations, all within and under the same umbrella in a sense. Everyone will have their autonomy. But the reality is these are the good people in the industry. And those that do not want to be part of what we do will be on that other side of the fence. That's it. Because there's absolutely no reason not to say, you know what? We support this message. We want these guys to get a solid message out to the consumers so that they're safe. We're not concerned that the truth is being told because we may lose a little business. Because in the end, they're losing a lot more business to the really bad guys out there. So let's tell the truth. Let's just be honest. And if we tell the truth to the consumer and you support that truth and you say the same thing on your websites and web presence, all your web presences, then in the end, you're going to win. And more importantly, the consumer's going to win.
One thing that's really it's really bugging me in this industry.
You like my haircut, Joe?
I love your haircut. Holy shit. That is
Dude, thank you. He went extra short today. I look like a 10-year-old, but it is what it is.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
That's why I love you, Joe. That's why I keep you around. First of all, your hair is always short and always looks clean. I have this thing where, because of the comb over, that I'm afraid for him to cut it too short because I'm a little balder in the back, but I told him to go for it. I just have to wear a little bit more paint.
I told Linda, the chick that cuts my hair, last time she cut it, and then this time I said, go for it. Let's do that short, late summer cut that's popular with all the kids these days. Just made that part up. And she did. And I like it. It's a little short. I don't normally go this short, but she kind of screwed up here. She got me this little patch there. This is where the angle starts going that way.
But you know what? I mean,
but the other side, pretty happy with it.
No one's going to say, first of all, we're old. So all kinds of freaky stuff happens. So if someone sees like a little patch in our hair, it's really not a big deal. Like for these poor 25-year-olds, I mean.
Most people look at it like, oh, it's old man disease or something.
It's like, yeah, what's going on with his head? Who cares? Does he have money? Okay, I'll fuck him. That's it.
I get that all the time.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
or the perception of money. All you have to do is you write your number. There's companies, they sell these things. You can buy them on like, I think Amazon or some other companies. They essentially sell phony ATM receipts. I don't know if you can buy them on Amazon, but they have like, amounts like, 350 grand in there, whatever it is. All you do, you go to a bar, you write your number on the back of one of those things, guarantee you get the call.
I like that.
Guarantee you get the call.
I like that. The other thing I like is those apps that will fake a phone call from like a celebrity or something.
I didn't even know that existed.
They exist.
That's fucking evil.
So you can set up the app, and you can be sitting at like a bar with some hot chick there or something. And you just say, hey, can you like wash my phone for me while I go to the washroom? And you hit your button, you set it up. Of course, it locks. So
make sure it's locked, so all of a sudden there can't be a naked picture somewhere or whatever.
Exactly. And then you walk away, and then 15 seconds later, the phone rings, and it'll have a picture, and it might say
like Colin Farrell or some shit,
Tom Cruise or something.
That is so fucking funny.
It'll have the area code that they're in too.
Yeah.
So Southern California, whatever. So
yeah, that's
so
brilliant.
It looks legit. Yeah. So that's another way to.
Well, I think it's that's kind of evil. But I think what's really evil is if you give that to a woman who maybe is feigning interest or whatever, and there's not that much interest, but she does call you after she sees that ATM receipt. That proves the evilness.
Yeah.
To me, that is just like then all bets are off. All bets are off. It's like those videos that you see of these guys trying to pick up chicks, and they have absolutely no interest, and all of a sudden, like their driver drives up with a Lamborghini.
I saw one yesterday. Yeah, it was pretty good. He actually pulled out a golden shovel and handed it to her and said, "Here, this is for you."
You're golden. Yeah.
She was like threatening to beat his Ferrari with it.
I fucking love those things, man. I absolutely love that stuff. Anyway, 888-659-3727. Believe it or not, this is the Hair Loss Show, but we talk a lot about guy stuff. And now that I'm an aging male, an older man, I feel it to be necessary to kind of guide you guys not only in the hair loss world, but in the real world. I've been through it all. I've had extremely long-term, 20-year relationships. I've had multiple experiences before that relationship, and I think I got it down pat.
Did you say multiple 20-year relationships?
No, one almost. It's like 18 years.
If we do the math on that.
Yeah, but the other ones were like multiple, like 2 years, 1 year, 3 year, and then in between those there were some, let's just say, hit and runs. In my younger days, when life was a lot freer.
I like that, hit and runs.
Life was a lot freer, and the worst thing you were getting was syphilis and maybe herpes. Maybe. Nothing that was going to kill you.
Just kill your reputation.
Yeah, or whatever. And at this stage, if that's what you get in life, it's a slap on the wrist. You're like, you're high-fiving your doctor.
Yeah, if that's all. That's all you get, then you win.
I mean, to me, HPV is scarier than the herpes because that shit can cause, depending on the strain, that can cause cancer, man.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest, most widespread venereal disease amongst millennials. It's like 90-some odd percent are carrying that shit.
That's amazing.
That frightens the hell out of me. I mean, not enough not to have sex, but, you know.
Well.
Anyway, phone number is 888-659-3727. This is the Hair Loss Show. If you guys don't know who I am already, I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association, author of The Bald Truth and the Truth About Women's Hair Loss, and also the founder of the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. The guy on your left is the original hair transplant mentor, a guy who has started his career, sadly, in a really bad way, you know, in the trenches, got fucked up, ended up working with some of the greatest doctors in the world, and had some great repair surgery. He knows this industry inside and out from a perspective that most will never truly understand. It's the original hair transplant mentor, live from Vancouver, British Columbia. My friend and yours, Joe Tillman.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's take a phone call. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. This is Jesse calling from Hermosa Beach.
Jesse from Hermosa Beach. What's happening, dude?
How's it going, buddy?
Not much. How are you guys doing? Doing good.
Good. What's the latest?
Now, you guys are giving me some crazy ideas here with the ATM receipts and the celebrity phone calls. God, haven't even thought about that.
Dude, if you want to learn how to just get a little game, maybe we'll do a game show, like a game show. We'll do a show on game. You gotta understand, it's old school game, though. I mean, I don't know how well it works for you younger guys.
The Friday game show.
Well, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, there's a lot of self-proclaimed pickup artists of our generation, but hold on, I got a motorcycle here. But they're pretty much just like scammy YouTube videos, you know?
Yeah.
They just flood YouTube with fake videos and stuff like that. But stuff like that, like little advice, like the ATM receipt and the fake phone call, that's gold.
Well, I got a lot of gold. I could tell you a story. I would get in a lot of trouble telling you guys some stories that I can tell you, and maybe eventually I can. But as of this moment, I can't. However, all of you guys out there who are dealing with hair loss, you think that you can't get laid. I promise you, even if you look like shit, get some decent clothes, get yourself in shape to some degree, act as if, and women, beautiful women, will flock to you. And people don't believe that.
The thing is, like, I'm a solid 6 on a good day, you know? I can get girls, you know, all I want. It's just the fact that they're not the girls that I want.
Well,
you know?
Here's the thing. And this is the thing that I think solid 6s don't understand as men. If you're a solid 6, that's a 10. That's a 10 in women's years. You know what I mean? If you're a solid 6
but I'm
with a D...
I'm in LA, though.
So what?
So I think I feel like it's different here.
It's not, dude. Are you kidding me? It's actually, the more beautiful the woman here that I found, the more you see them with average-looking dudes. It's the craziest thing. It's like a paradigm shift. I don't even know what it is. Like in New York, it's different. Here in LA, you see a lot of like totally beautiful women who, I mean, they won't eat more than a salad in front of you. They got all kinds of issues, first of all. And I've learned that the more beautiful the woman, the bigger the issues are, the easier they are to get. So in my world, as a younger person, I keep saying that, I guess even now, and one day I'll be able to expose some stuff to you guys, but the less attractive women seem to be more critical about people's looks, and they may be desperate, but they're the guys that are swooning over movie stars. The really beautiful chicks, A, they don't want any attention taken away from them. B, something got fucked up in their life at some point. And they basically have relied on their appearance their entire lives to, you know, kind of make it in this world. So they're more attracted to the guys that can give them a little bit of a, I guess, support in many ways.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time.
Sure.
How old are you?
I'm just turned 30.
Okay, well, you're still young, but you will find girls around your age actually are starting now. So if you're riding a good, what do you kids call them? Whips? If you're driving a nice car, and and you got a couple of bucks in your pocket, or they have these places now right here in Beverly Hills. You can lease a Ferrari for a couple of nights. Who the fuck is gonna know?
I got one better.
Drive up to the Hollywood Hills and see some house under construction. Say, yeah, I may live in a shitty apartment now, but that's my house.
Here's what you do. Okay, what he said is fine, but to actually get what you want to get, have a group of people meeting you after you arrive at a certain bar, and have them run in with cameras flashing and notepads out, all of them asking for a picture with you and for your autograph.
That works.
I actually saw that. I saw that one YouTube video that kid put up, and it was pretty sick.
Yeah, it was. That was good.
Yeah, he dressed up all fancy and stuff, and he had a bunch of people in a limo, and follow him around, and he got people taking pictures with him and signing his autograph. It's crazy.
There's actually a service there's a service in some of the larger cities in North America. I don't know if it's a chain or like it's a franchise, but they offer this service where you'll get to act and feel like a VIP because they hire actors to follow you around and be your entourage.
Yeah.
And other variations of it will just mob you at some bar or something that you coordinate with them, and they'll act like you're some sort of superstar and ask for your autograph and the photos and all that stuff. So it's
fucking wild world.
Yeah.
The guy, Jay Jones in chat room says, "Yeah, that work in the short term. That's all you want, dude. Is the short term.
What do you want? Long term here? You looking for a commitment? Huh?
You want the short term. The shorter the better, and then eventually it'll last for a few months, and then you go on to the next one, and that's the way life works.
A few months. I thought we were talking like a few hours.
Well, here's the thing: they can't. It takes some time to figure it out. They're Googling you, they're figuring all kinds of things out, but there's so much you can do. Listen, the only reason, and this sounds mean, almost, but the reality is, I have never met a woman who's left the house that isn't wearing a disguise. What you see is not what you get in this world.
That's right.
That's it. I was lucky enough to have a woman for a very long time who did not need to wear makeup, who's absolutely beautiful without makeup. That's a rarity. You see all these women on Instagram, or they're taking their pictures with their boyfriends, on Facebook, and you can't see the pound of makeup, but it is like an inch thick of goop on their face. And as soon as they remove that, put their hair up, put their sweats on, you're like, so this is it. This is what I got.
This is what I got. This is the final product once the polish is rubbed off.
Yeah.
That sounded mean. I'm sorry, but hey.
I look the same. My hair's just messed up. So I think it's unfair. Anyway, go ahead.
it's all a game. The whole thing's a game. And if you want to play and you want to try and get as far as you can, that's what you got to do. If you don't want to play, you sit on the sidelines and you do whatever ethical things to do. But
well, and it's not even ethical. It's not even what is ethical about you meeting someone? The vast majority of these people, eventually you're going to be paying for their cell phone bills, or you're going to be helping them with their rent, or you're going to be, what's ethical about that? Why shouldn't it be a 50-50 split in everything that you do? It's not. You're putting your hand in your pocket to pay that dinner bill, no matter what, because you're a gentleman. That's what gentlemen do.
Yep.
You know what? That's what suckers do. I'm
sure.
sorry. Women want to be feminists?
The whole deceiving.
Oh, it's not deceptive. What's deceptive? To me, it's more deceptive. I want to see a woman on Match.com with zero makeup.
I agree 100%.
That's it.
I want to see a chick just out in the open with no makeup on.
Yeah. Right. Let's meet. Our first meeting, we both won't wear makeup. I won't even wear makeup on my head. How's that?
But that's what I'm saying. Both sides are playing the same game. We're both, using things to our advantage and trying to trick the other person into whatever, even though you're not, mentally trying to. That's what you're doing. So, there's...
some people are mentally trying to.
There's some evil people. But in general, you're right. I agree with you. And it's just, everyone's putting their best foot forward. When you're sitting there for that first, second, third, fourth, fifth date, even after you have sex, whatever it is, it's fucking wonderful, man. You are on cloud nine, the endorphins and all the hormones are going and everything's happening. and all of a sudden you got to drive someone to Pennsylvania to see their brother in jail. That's life. You know, that's
Wait, what?
that's the reality. And I said,
I didn't get.
I said, all of a sudden you have to drive to Pennsylvania so you can see their brother in jail, and then reality kicks in. Now, that's never happened. That's never happened to me, but you know.
But just saying.
Yeah, I remember once I was dating this girl. She may be listening, because I think she's a fan of the show, and fucking beautiful. I mean, outstandingly beautiful chick. I'm not even going to talk about her ethnicity, because it'll give it away. But
this was the one with the thing, and then that thing with the got it.
I like a 12 out of 10 type of beauty, you know. And I was like 21, 22 years old. I was supposed to go visit some buddies at Penn State. I dropped out of college. I was a young entrepreneur, and she wanted to go with me. So I'm like, oh, let's get in the car. Well, she's all, by the way, we're going to go visit my parents or my mother and my brothers in Philadelphia. As I'm in the car, I have plans. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, what? You're not gonna, she goes, I had a man drive 2 states to get me a Clark bar. Okay? So, you know, I mean, this was the reality. This girl can get whatever she wanted. Now, did I go to Philadelphia? The answer is yes. But I was only 22 years old, 21, something like that. But it started young, dude. And now she's still a beautiful woman. But there's no way that anyone's going to drive 2 states to get her that Clark bar, and I would not be taking her to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of life. All right, so let's talk about hair. What's happening?
Oh, all right. So, I'm just around 4 months post-op. So I had 1,100 grafts with Dr. Dower around June 1st. Just to kind of fill in my scalps. So I have like the forelock in the front, and then we just did a little bit of hairline, pretty much is what we did. So it's around 4 months. Just when would I expect, this is probably a really frequent question, but when would I expect the cutoff of, numbers of grafts to come through? Not especially the thickness or anything like that, but just the number of grafts. When do you typically see the maximum amount?
You'll typically see the maximum amount, in my view, based on all the experience. If you're not seeing the maximum by 8 to 10 months, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're still seeing stuff come up, after 5-6 months.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing about this is I could say 7 months, but there are a lot of people that will have a longer, we'll call it a gestation period for grafts to start sprouting. I think 10 months is a safe outlying endpoint to where you can say, okay, 10 months and 3 grafts have sprouted. I think this is pretty much done, and I need to talk about options. But if you've got a big improvement, then what you can expect after that 10 months is a continued maturing of the hairs that have sprouted, and that can actually make it look thicker in time because of the way that it will start to lay better and the way it'll start to behave better. And the hair shaft diameter might also change for the better, giving you the appearance of, giving you better coverage, which gives the appearance of stronger density. And so it is a process. I mean, even after the grass will sprout, it's a process of maturation for several months afterwards. So, people talk about how, some clinics will say, well, we don't know the final result of growth until 18 months. I call horseshit on that. But you don't know the final way that the hair will behave and look until about 18 months because the hair texture can change. The way that it behaves can change. Remember, you're retraining brand new hairs that are in a brand new spot. So it takes time.
Right.
And most guys will see, or most patients, guys and women will also see their final result probably 14, 15 months, but it can extend out to 1.5 years.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, because I've shaved my head. I still have my head shaved. I haven't really tried to grow it out yet. I went into it with my head shaved. So I'm trying to think when I should start growing my hair out. Like when's the best result going to be, so I can start growing my hair out and see how it looks.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel now that you're living all this time with your head shaved?
Well, I've had my head shaved for the past 4 years.
So why'd you get a hair transplant?
Exactly.
What's that?
So why'd you get a hair transplant?
Oh, because again, I missed the way I looked when I was so. Bringing back to the appearance-wise, I was a good 8 to 9, solid 8 to 9
with hair
when I did have hair.
Yeah.
And now I'm down here, and I mean it's I could get pretty much any girl I wanted.
Right.
And going from that to really not having a pick at all is kind of brutal.
I get it.
So I mean it's that I could totally pull off the bald head look. I'm on the Propecia, so I'm not really losing, what I have the appearance of hair left on my head when it's shaved. So, I mean, I wasn't in too shitty of a position, but, as the kids say, YOLO.
Yeah. Look, I
just kind of went for it.
Listen, I completely get that, and that's why I was so affected by it, because I was the guy known for his hair when I was like my early 20s, before it all started. So it totally fucked me up. I was noticing a change in the level of just my ability to really attract women. Like at one point in my life, and again, you said, I'm just being honest, it was just like, go out, whatever it is, may not be the best looking guy in the room by any means, but for some reason got, the women just much easier. That started to change a little bit. Then I had to work on my game. And I was lucky enough to save my hair, but then it just became like this mess of hairspray, whatever it is, and it just was. It still will never be the same as it was. So I say that takes a point off, 2 points off, whatever it is. Shaving your hair off that could easily take 3 points off or 2 points off.
Oh yeah.
So I get it.
I would go in my early 20s. I'd go into a bar at like the end of the night or whatever. And an attractive girl would literally just come up to me and start making out with me. Like, I literally didn't have to do or say anything. It was crazy.
Yeah, and that's I think it's when it's that situation that it could hurt people the most.
Yes.
These are the guys that get the most fucked up. And I would say that, it sounds obnoxious, but, and I always say this, like, I'm just good looking enough. I was never that, top model type of guy, but I had the height, I guess the physique, maybe the personality combined with not being too fucked up looking, and then you get a lot of women that way. So
sure.
But I kind of felt a change as well, and that's why I became so focused on it, and realized at first, like I always say, I thought it was crazy. Like I'm the only one thinking about this.
Yeah.
But that's obviously not the case. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you were 10 years old when I started this show. Think about that.
I can't comment too much because, I didn't go to club. I didn't club a lot because I wasn't very good on roller skates.
That is so wrong.
What? Oh, sorry. Yeah. No,
you were talking about my roller disco days.
No, my clubbing experience was I got off to a great start, and then it got hampered by 2 bad hair transplants and the continued evolution of my hair as it would continue to fall on the floor. And so by the time I was in my middle 20s, when I was just to the point where I had enough confidence to where I could handle myself in a club and be somewhat approachable, it all turned. And that's when I was dealing more with hair loss issues than I was with other issues of trying to feel comfortable in my own skin going into a club. I never liked clubs to begin with because I recognize what it is from the very beginning. It's a meat show. But yeah, that was a difficult time for me as far as my clubbing experience, because I was dealing with the hair issue, not hair loss, but the bad hair transplant. And so I just don't have that much experience. I mean,
Dude,
you know,
you
people in
are
the chat
about
room
to you're about to bust Joe up in tears, dude.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. Because when I was going in the clubs after I got my first hair transplant, and make no mistake, that was like, you know, the weight was lifted off the shoulders, the shackles came off, the you know, the chastity belt was cracked, and I made up for lost time. I really did. But I still never felt really comfortable in the clubs.
I wasn't a real club dude. I mean, this is how old I am. I used to go to Studio 54. Okay, that's fucking old. And
Wow.
Xenon. But with that said, I really never loved that. I liked dive bars. That's what I dug.
Yeah.
You know?
Dark. Yeah, not as much pressure.
Well, it's beyond that. You're dealing with hardcore alcoholic women. You know? Which is crazy and awesome all at the same time. No, but these young girls that hang out at these bars, and you know, it's a different, you know, it's a different vibe. You know, they're sexy. They're wearing jeans, cowboy boots, shit like that. Especially in New York. I mean, that's kind of like the women that I liked.
Yeah.
When I was a younger lad. But yeah, listen. So you know, I understand why you got the transplant, and I have a feeling you're going to be happy with it, and especially if you can wear your hair short and you're just more concerned about, you know, the overall look, framing your face, kind of getting that appearance back where, you know, you don't have like a 5 head. That can make a big difference.
Yeah, and I didn't go too big. I went with the 1,100 grafts, you know, on the advice of obviously Dr. Dower. And I just feel like it's going to be better overall because, you know, I'm not going to have the unnatural look with the low density down low and all that sort of stuff. I'm just hoping that when I do grow my hair, because I haven't grown my hair out in so long, that it's not going to be so thin, you know, that it's almost pointless to grow it out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends on how long you want to grow it out. And it may be a little thin. I don't think it's going to be pointless. I think you're going to get a good idea of where you stand and if you need another procedure.
No, but I mean like the already existing hair in the forelock, you know?
Oh, you're worried about, okay, I understand that. I'm sorry. I'm being texted by 3 different people as you're speaking. So currently, you had nothing put into the forelock. So are you concerned that you're going to have a discrepancy in density between the hairline and the forelock?
I mean, not even a discrepancy, just the fact that the forelock, I feel like, the hairs are so miniaturized and so thin that I don't know if I'm going to get, you know, if it's just going to be straight see-through, because I have, you know, red hair, very light red hair to begin with. So I don't know if it's going to, you know, just kind of look weird, but I'll figure it out.
I mean, red hair, I mean, it's funny. Everyone calls them gingers now. We used to call them redheaded kids. But red hair is unique in many, many aspects. And one, it depends on how white your skin is. If your skin is really white and your hair is really red, then you're going to have a pretty significant contrast. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so my skin is pale as hell. I'm a ghost pretty much. But my hair is almost like an auburn when it fills in. So it looked good at the time. So it wasn't I wasn't a crazy ginger.
Yeah. Well, are you able to tan?
I haven't tanned in a long time just because of the the whole ultraviolet radiation risk and stuff.
Wait a second. Are you telling me there's some sort of risk?
What?
with sun damage? Now listen,
I read it on a blog somewhere. I think.
Yeah,
I read it on the internet.
Look, I'm not. There is a strong possibility, or a possibility, that one day I will be diagnosed with some form of skin cancer. That's it. My father had it, but he didn't get it till he's like 80. I go out. I swim indoors and outdoors. I play basketball. I'm tan. You know, I don't lay out like for hours. If I do sit out, I try not to sit out for more than 15 minutes at a time. But I also believe that the benefits of the sun can outweigh, especially as far as when you are comparing cancers, can certainly be of great benefit. You know, people are using, or the last 20 years, the American Academy of Dermatology promoting the use of chemical-based sunscreen. I understand the reasoning behind it, but for whatever reason, more people are using sunscreen than ever before, but skin cancer is on the rise. And now people are blaming the ozone. Yeah. I don't think it's the ozone. I think it's that people are spending more time. They're spending more time in the sun with these chemicals on their body.
Well, from what I've read, I've not looked into this.
And they have no vitamin D.
That the ingredients or the chemicals in the creams, the lotions to fight sunburn or to fight the radiation is actually causing the cancer itself.
I think that could be partially part of it. I also think if you look at most people with the disease, they have very low levels of vitamin D.
Yeah.
And even if you take D3, if you don't synthesize it naturally, there is a theory, and there's a guy by the name of Michael Hollick. He actually used to be in the hair industry many years ago out of the University of, I think it was Boston, or Boston University. University of Massachusetts or Boston University. I actually was in contact with him. He was doing work on, one of the first guys who was doing work on cellular regeneration of hair. He moved over to UV, he's studying UV light, and he wrote a book called the UV, somebody looked this up for me. But basically, he was the first guy, and he was shunned by the American Academy of Dermatology to state clearly that it is important that people get sunshine, and that the whole move to stay out of the sun is causing more people to get severe forms of cancer and other illnesses. And it was a big issue. Go ahead.
I think it's like anything else with moderation, though. Like for me, for you, I think it's more of a burn factor. For you, you probably tan very well, and you don't burn often. So for me, like the instant I'll go out in the sun, and the first time, after the winter, I'm a lobster. So it's like, it's kind of either the one or the other, and I think burning is more of a cancer risk than applying sunscreen.
No, I agree. I agree that. I don't agree that it's necessarily more of a cancer risk, but I agree that it is a significant cancer risk. And
right.
So you telling me I could have a couple of cigarettes and I'll be okay? Because I would love to go back to smoking.
We're back.
Just put the sunscreen on the cigarette. Fine.
Well, listen, man, I wish you the best. You're a great caller. You have a great attitude. And I'm telling you, as a man, if you really do believe you're a 6, you're in good shape, especially if you shave your head. But if you grow your hair out a little bit, you could be back to a 7 or an 8. Just concentrate now on making some money, man. And
I got that covered.
Then you got the hair transplant.
There you go.
You win. I'm telling you, by the time you're 35 years old, these women will be knocking at your door.
And that's your next strategy. So get one of your buddies to come up, and while you're sitting there with some girl trying to, you haven't even talked to her yet, just have the subject of money come up, and that's when you say, hey, got that money thing covered.
Yeah, I got that covered.
Yeah, but again, though, so I'm in L.A., it's a different story out here. Like, I make good money, but I don't make good L.A. money,
They don't need to know that.
You're such a pessimist, dude.
Have you not been listening?
No, it's the reality, though. So you put me up with a guy like Spencer, right? And who do you know?
Yeah, but I could be old enough to be your father. But I will listen.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is obnoxious. But like, I'll go to the peninsula, or I'll like I told you that story with Joe. For whatever reason, chicks dig the gray hair. They sense that maybe there's an attachment to some sort of money there. Especially if I'm sitting at the bar at the peninsula in Beverly Hills. That's a meat factory, dude. It is. Yeah. It is absolutely crazy.
It's a meat factory if you're good looking and you have money.
Not every time.
I mean, I see a lot of guys who are in my age bracket who are overweight, and they seem to do pretty well. Here's the thing. I think my advantage and Joe's advantage as well is that we stay relatively thin and in shape. That helps a lot when you age. So all of you guys who are like out of shape now, get yourselves in shape so that when you are in your 50s, you're walking straight, you're not sitting there with a gut. Makes a huge difference.
that's the main thing that comes with shaving your head. I mean, you'll read in every single form that's possible on the internet. It says shave your head and start working out and gaining mass because they kind of go in two and two together, you know.
If I had to shave my head, if it gets to the point where I have to shave my head, and this is not advice for anyone else to take, this is my personal thing, and I would never advise anyone to take drugs of any kind, but I am going straight to the doctor, and he's going to jack me up with human growth hormone and testosterone because I'm not going to be worried about my hair, and I will be the fucking rock. That's it.
Hey, man, if I wasn't on Propecia right now, I'm almost positive I would be on something.
I would have like some sort of tattoo done like up my neck and on, like the back of my head and just totally rock a new look, gain about 30 pounds of muscle, and make that work until I die of some disease.
Yeah.
That's it. Is that bad advice, Joe?
I don't think it's bad advice. Personally, I'd just be hiring the VIP posse, but you know, it's just me.
That's true. Or hookers.
It's amazing how many guys are on it down here.
Dude, I can tell you that it's
young guys.
Young guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Here in this area, both in Beverly Hills and in Calabasas, I would say, without exaggeration, 50% of the guys are taking some sort of a steroid. It may be more than that.
Yeah.
That is an epidemic.
In my gym, I see it all the time. And I'm relatively like I'm thin, but I'm kind of jacked, you know, and I knew if I just took like a really small amount, it would just be over the top.
For sure.
You know, and I'm just scared shitless because I don't want to lose my hair. And I'm also concerned about cancer and shit like that, you know.
You just never know.
Yeah, the blood pressure issues, the hypertrophy of the heart and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm honestly, when I think about it, do I really want to live that much past 65 or 70 anyway?
Yeah, but that's what people always say, but you don't just go out quick like that always. That's what my dad says, because he's a smoker and he lives a very unhealthy life. But he says, when I die, I die. I'm like, that's not how it's going to work, though, because I'm a nurse. I'm going to be taking care of your ass and wiping your ass when you're debilitated in a fucking dialysis clinic.
Well, that's true. Unless, I mean, now in California, I think it's legal to have yourself taken out.
Death with Dignity is in a couple of, I think, 1 or 2 hospitals. But in order to get into that specific thing, you need, I think the criteria is terminal illness, and I don't think diabetes or hemodialysis.
Let me tell you something, man. You can get anything. You used to be able to go. Now you don't need to get a pot license, but any doctor will sign off on that shit now.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You ungrateful little twerp. This guy brought you into this world, and he'll take you out. Appreciate your elders.
Dude, let me tell you something. I had to deal with my father lived till 90, smoked Chesterfields, drank Jack Daniels, but the end was really, really bad. And that experience made me, and you're a nurse, so you see this stuff. That experience made me think, I don't know if, I think 60s are low. I don't know if I make it to 80 and I could still walk and raise my hand and stuff, maybe that's when I take myself out, because once you cross that bridge, what do you got left? You could hang out, talk, eat a pastrami sandwich, maybe hire a hooker, watch some TV.
Get excited when you take a poop.
Yeah, like, oh, this feels good. I mean, what do you really have left? Now, sadly for me, this industry is still going to be fucked up, so I'm still going to have to work. So, all right, listen to it.
Sitting on a commode on the radio.
Dude, that is such a nurse term, by the way.
It really is.
Anyway, dude, listen, good luck to you. Thank you so much for the call. We have a lot of calls on the line, but you're so enjoyable to talk to. I decided to keep you on. So,
right on. All right, guys.
Man.
Thanks for your help.
Take care.
Thanks for calling.
Phone number is 888-659-3727. We are live. The number's toll free. One line is just dropped, so that means there's a line open if you want to call in. Let's see who this is. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Spence, Joe, it's Angelo.
Angelo! What's happening, man?
What's up, guys?
Angelo from Chicago.
this the gay bald show or just the bald truth?
The gay, it could be, I don't know.
It's the bald show. So if you want the gay bald show, we'll try to find that number for you. But this is the bald show. Tell us about tell us about your latest result, buddy.
Do you have any gay bald experiences you want to talk about?
No, but you guys are getting a little gay there.
What? With the talking about nurses?
No, just the whole conversation was a little gay.
Really? I'm excited.
Talking about how to pick up women.
I'm curious. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I want to know. I mean, I will fly a rainbow flag right behind my ass right here. So I'm cool with that. No. What would you consider gay about that?
I don't know. Just too much beauty talk and this and that.
Wow.
Dude,
I don't know.
Angelo, you went to get a hair transplant so you can look better.
Yeah, I know.
This sounds very gay.
See?
So what's up, Angelo? What can we do for you, dude?
Hey, guys. Well, I didn't listen to you, and I'm ready to do my third transplant.
Okay.
Oh. Wait. How far out?
So you didn't listen to us, or you did do? Are you going to do it?
Excuse me?
Are you saying that you're choosing not to listen to us and you're going to have a transplant, or you didn't listen to us and you had the transplant?
I'm choosing not to listen to you as I'm having my third transplant. You guys kind of talked me out of not doing it because I was doing so good with the second one, but this journey's got to end. And
it may just end, but I hope it ends well for you.
Oh, I think it will.
Here's the thing. What the fuck do we know? We're just two guys on the radio. You know? What do we know? We've only been in the industry for 20 years. Listen, you have to make you have to make your own choices, and that's the one thing I tell. And this is a great example. I tell the doctors who complain about us trying to talk people out of surgery. Only a small handful of guys will actually listen. So we give you all the information you need to make an educated choice, and you're making the choice that you feel is best for you.
I want to know why you think that you have to get a third one. Like, what's the shortcoming of your situation now?
It's not shortcoming. It's hair greed now.
It's just down to hair greed. Because last time you called, you said that you sent the pictures in, and it was rate my hair transplant, and we talked about your progress. How far along are you now?
5.5 months.
5.5 months. You've got more coverage to come, more density to come, yet you're already pulling the trigger to have another one. Now, is this going to be another procedure at no cost or reduced cost because of your first procedure? Because I thought I remembered you say something about you potentially going back to that first doctor for another pass.
Yeah, this is at no cost, and I'm not putting anything in my crown. In fact, when they shave my head, I'm going to make them do a mohawk, not to cut it.
Interesting. So you're going back simply because it's at no cost this time, right?
Well, yeah, a little, and I still would like to get more hair. I'm going to have them put it at the front this time.
Okay, so let me ask this question. This has nothing to do with the doctor, so I actually encourage you not to mention his name. But
I don't want to, exactly.
If this was something that was full price, would you be going in to have another pass?
Absolutely not.
Then why the fuck are you going to do it now?
Well, because I feel like I threw my first $10,000 away.
No, you threw your hair away. No, you threw your hair away. The money doesn't come easy. The hair doesn't come at all. It's gone. Forget it. Mm-hmm. Write it off. Move on.
I still got more hair to move as far as I'm concerned. I got nice thick hair on the sides.
I'm telling you, Angelo, you know I wouldn't steer you wrong. Okay, we've talked.
I know you wouldn't, Joe. You're the best.
But I'm telling you that if you wouldn't do it at full
Am I at
price,
least the second best?
then don't do it at all.
You're both the best.
Thank you, man.
I know, Joe, but you know what? I'm a stubborn dago from Chicago, and I'm gonna go for it. I understand you're talking to me for my best interest, but I'm going for it.
You guys are stubborn because you actually think you have good pizza.
We got the best. We got the best. Don't even talk about New York.
No, actually, it's funny. I do like a good Chicago deep dish pizza, especially if it's filled with like a lot of shit. There's something very, it's almost like comfort food. But for me, being a New Yorker, there's nothing like a nice thin slice of just a good slice of pepperoni pizza, New York style. Do you like New York pizza?
No, it's like eating sauce with crackers.
That is so funny, man. It is so Chicagoan-esque.
I'm a purist. I prefer it from the motherland.
You like real Italian pizza.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just like real mozzarella, a little sauce on like a cracker.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a marguerite style.
Yeah.
But I do like a good greasy pepperoni, even with anchovies.
There's nothing like an old original Ray's slice, which just doesn't exist basically at this point. But there is a place in Midtown on 8th Avenue that calls itself Ray's. It's not the original Ray's, but the last time I was in New York, I was staying at a hotel in the area, and it was probably the best slice I've had in about 20 years.
But is there still original Rays, or did that get
there are companies somehow they call themselves Original Rays. I don't know if it was bought out, but I don't think there is an Original Rays left.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I've heard of Rays, never been there, but yeah. But look, Angelo, I'm telling you, buddy, if you wouldn't do it by paying for it, then don't do it for free. That's all I got to say on the matter. I've spoken. You're going to do what you're going to do. I respect your decision, but I had to say it.
Okay, you want to hear something funny too?
Yeah,
love to.
He's making me jump through hoops to do this. That I had to get a clearance from my medical doctor to get topical anesthetic.
Why would?
Ever heard of that before?
Why is that? What's the reason?
Do you have a heart condition? Do you have any type of other, like atrial defibrillation? Dr. Cole, can you help me with that? How do you pronounce that, Joe?
Which one?
Atrial. I can't pronounce the word now. Like I just
say atrial defib.
All of a sudden, my mind just, that's like what's his name? The guy with the first name R.
How about we'll let Angelo answer?
Last name M. Sorry.
What was the reason?
I don't know. You tell me. Is that trying to make you jump through hoops, busting your balls, or what?
Well, no. I mean, the only reason why a doctor would ask you to get clearance from
your
Dr. Cole. Primary doctor for some sort of anesthetic, the only thing I can think of is because of a cardiac condition that's pre-existing that you know about. So, like, do you take aspirin every day because you have cardiac issues? Have you had cardiac issues in the past?
I have some blockage, but it's not operable. So,
do you smoke?
Mean, I'm sure just cigars.
How often?
I'm sure everybody has some blockage at 67 years old.
Well, look, I don't know why that he would make you jump through hoops to get that kind of clearance. I don't think it's a big deal because all you got to do is contact your doctor and get the clearance, tell them what it's for, and then they'll just give you a permission slip, so to speak. But what other hoops are you having to jump through?
Well, I mean that's a hoop right there.
Yeah,
I didn't need it the first time. I didn't need it the first time I went when I was paying $10,000 out of my pocket.
Well, that's a different issue altogether. But what I'm just saying, it's like, if he's making you jump through hoops and that's what you call a hoop, then there's got to be some sort of legitimate medical reason why he would ask you to do that. But I also think it's in your best interest to call him up and say, yo, why do you want me to do this? And find out. Like, if you have questions about anything, call the clinic. Ask why. That's your right to know. Like, this
Well,
is your
I
body,
did ask
dude.
when I was.
You're the one
I
having the
asked when I was
procedure.
there.
And what did he tell you?
I asked him why I was there. He said it's a new practice the doctor started.
So you didn't ask the doctor, you asked the consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw the doctor when I went in.
Okay. Well, maybe that's a new thing that they're trying to
You
do
gotta-
is
what-
topical.
Why don't you go? Who's the doctor again?
Do you want me to say it?
I just asked you.
Dr. Yates.
And you're telling me that you went to see Dr. Yates and you haven't seen the doctor to have your third operation?
Well, I mean, for this one, I haven't seen him yet. No. The first one I did, absolutely.
Well, you saw him because he performed the surgery. He helped to perform the surgery, at least, or perform the surgery. But, dude, you're going in. This is a really important procedure for you.
It's probably your last.
So the fact that the doctor didn't even put his head in the room and say, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" That is in my view, that is a bad sign, dude. You need to talk to the doctor. Ask why all of a sudden do I need this topical anesthetic when I didn't need it before. Now, are you having an artist procedure again, or are you having a motorized handheld procedure?
I don't know if he uses motor or he does it all by hand. I don't remember from the first time.
So you
was not an artist.
Oh, so you didn't have an artist the first time. So explain to me again, and we get a lot of calls. I remember you obviously well, but I forgot your exact situation. You had an FUE procedure that you were unhappy with.
Correct.
Now did you have two that you were unhappy with, or just one that you were unhappy with, and one. Okay, so
one from Dr. Yates, 1,800 grafts in the crown, and I don't think I got what I paid for.
Okay,
that's my.
So he's now going to be giving you a free, as they would say, touch-up, as opposed to repair.
Correct. I went to Dr. Bolton and had a strip surgery on my crown, and it's coming in beautiful.
Did Dr. Yates get to see the results of your strip surgery?
Yeah.
And what was his response?
He didn't see it. He didn't see it, but the consultant did.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, you got two scars." He said, "Oh, you got two scars on the back of your head. Why do you have two scars?"
Dude,
I said, "I don't have two scars. I have one scar."
I have to say, and this has nothing against Dr. Yates, but if you're going to sign up and he's going to sign you up to have surgery as a repair patient without sight unseen, you got to see the doctor. That's all I'm saying. You got to. How far is the office from you?
Well, about 80 miles now, because I'm in Wisconsin now.
Okay,
80. But he did see me after the second surgery, and that was like 2 months ago or 3 months ago.
Okay.
He did look at my head.
But the fact that you drove 80 miles from Wisconsin to see a consultant, was the doctor in the office that day?
As far as I know, he was. I never saw him, but yeah, he said he was doing surgery.
Okay. You drove 80 fucking miles, dude. He should have at least popped his head in to say hi.
I agree.
Well,
I'm sorry if I'm being harsh, and this has nothing against Dr. Yates by any means. It's just, this is common courtesy. Listen, I'm a busy person. I can tell you that if I was in the service industry, no matter how busy I was, especially when I'm performing surgery, there's no way I wouldn't want to see and at least evaluate the psychological situation with, that's not the word I was looking for, but I couldn't find the right word. You know, yeah, and just to check and make sure that this fucking guy isn't crazy before I perform surgery on him, especially if you're going for the third surgery, you're unhappy. To trust a consultant to make that decision for you, that's just bad business in my view.
Spencer, read your. I sent you a message. Might explain what's going on.
Okay.
You need to check it out. Yeah. But anyway, what Spencer's saying makes a lot of sense because you're in a position. I mean, I've said this to a lot of people. You know, your next hair transplant is the most important because every transplant you get means that the likelihood of being able to get one afterwards is diminished just that much more. You don't know if you're going to have any more hair left to do anything you might want to do, and I don't care what a situation involves. If you're not in a position where you would say to yourself, I would have this at full price, and the only reason you're getting it is because it's free, I just think that is a bad idea. You have to feel comfortable about this to where you would be happy to pay full price. That's all there is to it.
Angelo, that's our advice. I would maybe speak to the doctor again. I hope all goes well, and if it does, you could send us a frozen, I won't give you my address, but I'll give you Joe's, Chicago pizza. They have those services.
And you even got it worse in L.A. because their pizza is the worst in the world.
I have to tell you that I have found one place. It's called Mulberry's Pizza, which is actually owned by, what is going on in my mind? The chick that was in Raging Bull, the blonde chick. What the fuck is her name?
She's
Faye
dead.
Dunaway?
Not Faye Dunaway.
What's her name? Raging Bull.
Anyway, so they have a couple of shops. They actually have one that's pretty close to me. It's the closest thing to New York pizza in Los Angeles. And I have to say, the place is packed. I really enjoy it.
Kathy Moriarty.
Yes. She actually opened the first one. And it's like the last time I was there, I saw Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. The place is packed with celebrities. I got to tell you, Tim McGraw's in great fucking shape. I was like, I didn't recognize him because he's wearing a baseball cap. I'm like, that dude is, he may have anorexia, but he's in good shape.
He's always wearing a baseball hat.
Well, we know
That's how
why.
you recognize him.
Yeah, but I'm like, this guy is in great shape. And I was like, he's an older guy with a gray beard. And then I realized who it was.
Yep.
And I ran up to him and I asked for a selfie. I'm just kidding. Okay, guy. Listen, wish you the best of luck, Angelo. Always a pleasure talking to you. And you know, if you make this decision to go forward, just, maybe have a conversation with the doctor. Talk about some of your concerns, at least on the phone or through Skype.
I'm going to pick his brain as soon as I walk in there, believe me.
All right, man.
And then, here's the kicker. Let me give you one more thing. The first one was 1,800 grafts I paid for. Now the consultant's saying, we're probably only going to do 1,000 because that's about all you got left. So there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Jumping through hoops and busting the balls.
Well, that's not jumping through hoops and busting balls. That's just reality. And that's, in my opinion, that's an even bigger reason to really think this through and consider the fact that you might not want to go through with this. If you only got 1,000 grafts left, it's like, seriously, you want to waste the last grafts you've got in this surgery?
What am I going to do with it? I'm 67 years old. Where am I going, Joe?
Dude, you might be around another 20 years. You don't know.
I know, but
so
I don't know.
Do you know what? If I was 67 years old, well, you're not spending any money, but I'd be like, I'd spend that money on hookers and booze and maybe glue on some hair. But you're not spending any money, so it's a different story.
Yeah.
I do enough crazy shit with my money as it is, so I might as well do something to make me look better looking.
Well, listen, Angelo, wish you the best of luck. We got some more phone calls. Let us know what you decide to do, all right, man?
I'll keep you up. It's October 5th anyway, so you won't hear from me for at least 2 weeks.
Okay, well, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
good
man.
luck, buddy.
God bless.
All right.
Say hi to Dr. Yates for me.
Bye-bye. Yeah, give a big hug. Give him a big hug.
Don't get insulted, Spence. You're the best.
Oh, no, I'm not insulted. I was just busting your balls, man. But we do want that pizza. We'll talk to you later, man.
You and the doctor like the bust balls. All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Later. 888-659-3727. Again, guys, as soon as I hang up a line, and that means a line is open if you want to get in. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Spencer, TJ, Los Angeles.
TJ, what's happening, man? I was like, who's this guy calling from his car? How are you?
Sounds like he's on a ship.
Oh, you can hear. Yeah, I'm on a Bluetooth. I hope the background noise isn't too overbearing.
No, it's okay. I've never had anyone call from a Jeep Wrangler before, but it's fine.
Hey, man, I was sitting here listening to the show, stuck on the 405 freeway, and I wanted to call you guys and just kind of throw out a thought. My wife is taking an extended trip to her mother country of Russia this winter. And
Extended wink, wink, or she's just going for a long trip?
No, long trip.
Okay.
She's gone for like 6 weeks.
All right.
Okay.
So, I had two things come to my mind as soon as she said that. First is, wow, I can get involved in a whole bunch of debauchery, here while she's gone.
Yes, you can.
And then the second thing that actually came to my mind is, I might be able to squeeze in a hair transplant. And I haven't kind of kept up with anything too well to really understand what might be going on nowadays. So I wanted to kind of throw that out to you guys and see what, if anything, you might think. Now, the one thing I would say is, if I do pull the trigger, I'm actually thinking of doing an FUE procedure because I would be interested in not, going through the whole strip process again where you got to have stitches for whatever, I think it was like 2 weeks, and then get them removed and so on and so forth. So I just want to kind of see what you guys may think about that.
Well, I just broke my pen. The good news is you've already had 3 strips, so you utilized a lot of your... Holy shit, dude. What's that noise?
Oh, okay, hang on. Sorry.
It's all right. You utilized all of your sweet spot. I mean, a lot of your sweet spot, which is good. Dude, you gotta figure that out.
Well, that's one way to do it. You hung up.
Call back, TJ. So, you are, and it's always great to hear him, by the way.
Is that TJ from way back?
TJ, who was relentlessly trying to get into the TBT studios. And then the last day at Westwood One, I was like, you know what? I'll never come back to this fucking place again. I'll let this guy in. And he ended up being really cool. We had a great time. We got loaded, and it was a lot of fun. Hold on. TJ, is that you?
Yeah.
That's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
I was telling the story how you hounded me to get on into the studio, and I wouldn't do it until it was my last day at Westwood One.
Yeah, that was.
Let me jump in and give my answer to this, TJ, because we
were telling an interesting story about our history here.
No, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Who? Me?
But, yeah, I was just... Yeah.
You.
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
TJ, so first off, the thing to understand is that when your wife tells you that she's about to go back to Mother Russia for 6 weeks, and you're sitting there thinking, what kind of debauchery can I get into? That's what she's thinking too. Don't forget that. Second thing...
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, she's not thinking about what plastic surgery procedure she's going to have.
I know.
The second thing,
seriously, yeah,
is don't think that maybe you can get a hair transplant just because the wife is leaving town. That's not the right reason. Do it because you feel like you need it or you want it, and you know she's behind you on it. Yeah. I understand.
Well,
but I don't think I'm not big on the idea of squeezing things in because it's convenient, like surgery.
No, and I can definitely appreciate that. I don't know if I shared this with you guys in the past or not, but she doesn't even know I've had transplanted hair. Sometimes she compliments me. She's like, "Oh, you're so lucky. Most men your age, they're half bald or completely bald." She has no idea.
So you never just said this is a hair transplant?
No. And I don't know if I will someday. I just, it just hasn't come up. Other than the fact that once in a blue moon she'll compliment me.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of understand it because I guess really what's the point? It's already done.
Yeah.
And, whatever. It's not that she would judge you, but if you feel uncomfortable with it, it's not like you've contour in some way? I mean, it's growing out of your head. It's not like you take it off at night when she's sleeping.
Has she never looked at your Facebook friends list and said, "Why do you have so many Facebook friends that are in the hair profession?
Why do you listen to that bald show? That's why you only listen to it in the car, dude.
That's it. That's it.
Because I'm always on the freeway during showtime.
And also, you were actually at a place very close to my place here in Beverly Hills the other night that I saw you post on Facebook.
Oh yeah, we love that place, Ocean Prime out in on Cannon in Beverly Hills.
Now you're saying it's a little too close. Now people know around where I live, dude.
Oops, big apologies. I didn't know you're in that neck of the woods. I knew you're out, obviously, in SoCal. I thought it was Calabasas.
We have a place in Calabasas, but my studio / kind of like I call it like my Ray Donovan pad. You know, he's got that apartment. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but essentially this is my workspace. I have like a little corner if I need to stay here at night, but this is my office now, so we turned the entire place into a studio.
Okay. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. For some reason, I thought you were broadcasting right out of your house.
I was doing that for a very long time. I still do once in a while. You guys don't know the difference because we made it look exactly the same. But since I'm getting involved in mainstream plastic surgery, to try to get people out to Calabasas is like, you tell them Calabasas, it's like you're going to Mars. I'm like, it's only a 20-minute drive, dude. But that's without traffic. In L.A., it's like an hour and a half drive.
Yeah. I come into L.A. daily from Orange County, and it's. I mean, I've gotten so used to long commutes that
fucking brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's like you're driving a metal coffin, dude.
Yeah, it can be bad, but I've just become numb to it. I mean, you learn things to do. You know, you podcast or you just books on tape, whatever your flavor is. You just learn how to cope with it.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not for me, and I decided that I needed a place that was really central to all of these guys. And you know what?
Yeah.
I have people coming to the studio now. Like before, it was I always had to do shit via Skype or whatever, and a lot of these guys like to record and just put a lot of stuff you guys don't see because I'm not putting it out personally for public consumption. They're using it for their marketing or their whatever.
So have you ever had Dr. McAndrews join you for a show? Because he's awesome.
I have never. He actually was on the radio show once, I think. I've invited him multiple times. I'm actually supposed to be meeting with Dr. McAndrews in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
And it's going to be very close to this place, so I'm going to invite him over to the studio, and I hope that he comes.
Yeah, he's... That's my first IAHRS surgery, and then Dr. Alexander was number 2, and they were both awesome. And, honestly, I'm pretty darn happy. I don't even think about it that much. In fact, I don't think about it at all, other than the fact that I just take my daily finasteride. But I've always had it in the back of my mind, like, hey, when I hit 40 or sometime in my 40s, I might do one more. And for no reason other than, some touch-up. And Dr. Alexander said back in, when was that? I had that surgery in 2009, I think. He said, if you ever come back, we'll put some grafts in your mid-anterior scalp. So the whole thing with the wife going away, it's just coincidental with this thought that I've had floating around in the back of my mind.
Everything's clicking.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yes.
Wait a second. It's been 4 seconds since I said dude.
You just said it. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, people in the chat room are just, they're so much fun sometimes.
Aren't they, though?
Yeah. Anyway, you can't see that, TJ. But anyway, listen, dude. Some guy in the chat room says I say dude every 4 seconds. I would say you are in a position where, A, you have a lovely, beautiful bride. How old is she? She's a lot younger than you, right?
Well, I shouldn't say that. She's 43.
How old is she?
I wish.
She's 43.
Oh, she's 43?
45.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Do you know I've never been with a woman over 40?
Well,
Isn't
yeah,
that-
I met her at she was 39 when I met her.
When you met your wife?
Yes.
You met common law. She was like, what, 23? How long ago was that?
That was March of 2008. What, 10 years ago? 10 plus years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. For me, it feels like 2-3 weeks ago. But by the way, that was some of the most fun I ever had. For whatever reason, I've always wanted to join a radio show in studio. And it was you, man. You made that little bucket list item, as trivial as it may seem, come true.
It wasn't trivial. It was a big fucking deal, dude. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, it was great. Westwood One Studios, I mean, there was such history in that building. And it was a great last show. We decided to have a bottle of, I think, Jameson's, right?
It was Johnny Walker Blue.
Did you brought it, right?
I brought it.
Yeah.
I brought
So
it.
he brings us a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do a drinking show. And we did. And it was a heavy drinking show. And luckily, Common Law was there to drive.
That was a lot of fun. Then we hit up Morton's Steakhouse afterward.
Did we go to Morton's? Or
Yeah, Morton's on also in Beverly Hills. Almost certain it was Morton. Almost certain it was.
it was, I think it was actually that place called Morty's in Woodland Hills. Because we went with the guy Anderson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, not to go off topic, but I do remember Anderson, and apparently he's made a movie, which I'm interested in checking out.
Yeah, he's not new in that, is he?
Who?
Not that I'm more.
No, I'm just kidding. I haven't spoken to Anderson in many, many years. I have to tell you that I've kind of like disassociated myself with anybody in radio.
Okay.
Except for Dino J. D'Amelio, who's still with Tom Likas. I went to their, I think it was their 8th anniversary party or 7th anniversary party. And my hope is that they still can somehow stay on the air. I understand that Tom is actually going off the air soon, and maybe Dino. But you didn't get a chance to meet Dino. Dino was already canned him by the time you were around. Okay. He still holds that.
No,
he's very passive aggressive about it, though. I have to say, I fired him for a reason.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no. I was just going to say that two guys I remember meeting, both really nice to me. A guy named Eli and a guy named Anderson.
Yeah. Oh, they were great. They were both great guys. Anderson, he was my producer and board op, and he was also the producer and board op for Love Lines for many, many years.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I do remember that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget that I was actually, and we're losing your internet, Joe. A lot of people forget that, especially people in the industry, certain doctors in the industry, that we were on the real radio for a long time. You were at the station. You know, the people that worked with me and for me worked for some of the biggest shows on talk radio. The Tom Likas Show, Love Line, Randy Jackson, Casey Kasem. They were all in my studio. And it was a lot of fun back then. But I got to tell you, I like it a lot more having my own studio.
Well, you also got some cool sound bites, right? Sammy Hagar, if I remember correctly.
I have them all. Let's see if I can find some. But yeah, I have a lot of guys who have came into the studio. They were very kind enough to give me IDs. I have Michael Anthony from Van Halen, Sammy Hagar. I have Emerson Hart from Tonic. I have a whole bunch of them.
That's cool.
Well, hey. Well, listen. As far as getting a transplant, are you asking us who to go to?
Well, so basically two questions. One is that based on what you know about me and my situation, all that good stuff, does FUE seems like it makes sense? And then secondly is, to be honest with you, I was just thinking of giving Dr. Alexander a call.
Well, you can give Dr. Alexander a call because he's the last doctor you work with. He can give you a good assessment. He may suggest another strip because you've already had, depending on your scalp laxity. But but I think he will give you an honest assessment on whether or not you're going to make a good candidate for either procedure. And then what you have to do is do your research and find out who you want to do FUE. There's a Sadly, there's really only a handful of doctors right now in the U.S. who are really doing FUE, in my view, to state-of-the-art standards. It seems like there's a lot of Europeans that are concentrating more on really learning how to do FUE correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the American doctors are kind of gravitating towards the use of turnkey devices, robots and stuff like that. And in some cases, and to give full disclosure, I consulted for Restoration Robotics for 2 years. And I did so in order to, what I believe, to help them improve their device and kind of have their finger on the pulse of what consumers are looking for, to kind of get an idea of the reality of the hair transplant industry. But my thoughts were always this, and I said this even when I was consulting for them. These are just tools. In the right hand, if someone understands how you utilize that tool, especially with the smaller punches, it is possible to get a decent result. However, with that said, all of these tools, in general, are not necessarily being used by doctors who know what they're doing, or by technicians who know what they're doing, or by PAs who know what they're doing. So if the user of any of these devices, whether it's a NeoGraft, a SmartGraft, an Artist, or whatever it is, if they don't know what the fuck they're doing, then you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Can I ask you this? Do you know if either Dr. McAndrews' practice or Dr. Alexander's practice, does FUE?
I know Dr. Alexander has an Artist robot, and I think that he is now doing some FUE. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, with some other tools. And I do know that Dr. McAndrews is doing some FUE, but he's doing it by hand. The thing about Dr. McAndrews is he does all of his surgeries by himself, and like with 1 or 2 techs. He places grafts. That's why he charges so much, and that's why he has, so many happy patients. But he's always been very conservative, and I think that was your issue. You were happy with the result, but you wanted more grafts. So then you ended up going to Dr. Alexander.
Yeah, and so Dr. McAndrews, and I was blown away by that. I'll never forget the day of the surgery. So that was February of 2008 with him. He put the grafts in himself. He just sitting there, I was blown away.
No, he's a rare animal, especially in the strip world. That's a rare thing. These guys just don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only contrast I had at that time, I had just barely known you, if at all, at that time. So I didn't understand what I understand today. So the only contrast I had when I went to see Dr. McAndrews back in 2008 was my prior experience with Bosley, which dates back to 2000. And at that time, I don't even remember seeing the doctor. He just in there for a moment, and then it disappeared.
Well, that's the way that they used to be. Bosley has come a long way for sure. But I will tell you that, you're in Los Angeles. There's a couple of guys who are doing FUE that I think are doing really good FUE as well. There's Dr. Bobach from the Armani Clinic in Beverly Hills. He does it all himself as well. Dr. Dower, who I'm pretty sure uses Dr. Cole's system. He does a really good job with FUE as well on a consistent basis. There's Dr. Sean Benham, who no one even talks about this guy, but he's doing the work himself as well. So that's another guy you can talk to. So you have all of these guys in the IHRS. You can talk to them. But if you're looking to stay local, there are a few guys who are actually really concentrating more on FUE where we didn't see that before.
Okay. Oh, that's good to hear.
But with that said, I would not rush into surgery, dude. You look good.
I know. That's so over the weekend we went to the movies and went to use the facilities, and the facilities have those all the way around mirrors.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing where you go up to wash your hands and then boom, all of a sudden you see your backside.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at myself. I'm like, the mid-anterior scalp and the crown are where I have a little bit of, lacking a little bit of density. So I thought, oh man, and then, my wife's like, I'm leaving for Russia. I'm putting all the pieces together. Plus, I've always said I'd do one more when I get to my 40s. And I'm 45, so I don't know. I do agree with you, though. I am very, very content with the work work I've had done. And I can live with it as is. So it's just something I need to decide on, and quickly.
And you know what I would do is
Yes.
maybe consult with your wife. Now that you're married,
yeah,
you know, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to hide, dude, even if she's away for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, well, I know. Isn't that funny? It would be funny if, a year later, all this density shows up.
Yeah, or if you have shock loss, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, that too. Yeah. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that at all, actually.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to do it, my advice would be, you're married now, dude.
Yep.
You know, listen, I'm not telling you to share everything with your wife.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. But
Include her in on the discussion. Share.
Yeah, but a hair transplant I would share.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I would say do not commingle funds. That's just my advice.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of other advice.
Now, what I don't want is for you to call us up in 3 months and say, I told my wife about my hair transplant and she left me.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that would suck balls. No, luckily, she's cool. There's really no good reason that I haven't told her other than it just hasn't been the need. But I do know her, obviously, and I just don't think she'd care much at all. So it's certainly something I could bring up to her without posing any risk, to the relationship whatsoever.
Well, then that's good, because there's no way she's not gonna know.
And once you tell her and she's all cool with it and everything, you don't have to try and squeeze one in for the 6 weeks while she's gone. She can be there to support you through the process.
And she can go to consultations, and she could say, believe me, sometimes I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Sometimes women get a sense, especially if she's a good woman, of something that's fucked up that you may not be aware of when you're in that consultation room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I think it's
especially TJ, the Russian ladies,
yes,
that I know that you know what I'm talking about.
Well, the first thing that she's going to be like, as soon as she hears the call, she's going to say no.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I noticed about marriage is, before marriage, it was mine. Things that are mine are mine. Things that are hers. Now that we're married, things that are hers are still hers. The things that are mine are ours.
Yeah. Wait till divorce, my man. And let's hope that never happens to you.
Yeah, no
because
kidding.
then things that are yours are not only hers, but most of what's yours are hers, including your house and your sanity.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Your dignity.
And not to mention, she'll take credit for everything you accomplish in your life.
Yes.
Oh, I know. I know very well. I've got friends. Not to put energy into the negative or anything like that, but I've got a friend of mine who I went to college with. He's a physician now, general doctor of some sort, who married a plastic surgeon. So his wife was a plastic surgeon. They had 2 daughters, and then they got a divorce.
Right there's a bad move. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I know. She makes fantastic money, and I mean, just beautiful amounts of money. But because he's the man, he's paying her. Oh, by the way, she initiated the divorce, and he's paying her $3,000 a month. It's unbelievably bizarre.
That's cheap.
How
it is cheap.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, that's for child support, because the kids probably live with her.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's not unique. He's not paying her alimony.
No. It's child support. But I guess the point, she doesn't need it, I guess, is the point. I mean,
Well,
she
sure.
makes more than enough money.
Sure, but it's out of being vindictive, and also, listen, $3,000 a month for her kids, that's pretty reasonable. It's not like she's getting $40,000 a month.
Correct.
If I were this guy, though, I would hire a forensic accountant. I would go in there, show that she's making more money than him, and I would sue her for alimony.
Yeah. It's just.
But yeah, look, that's just me. That's how I operate.
Oh no! By the way, that's smart thinking. But there is unfortunately, when it comes to like divorce, the courts and everything is stacked in favor of the woman. Everything.
Well, it is that way for the most part. But if you understand how to, utilize the system correctly. And if you actually are earning less and you can prove that you're earning less, then they can't, they may take your kids away and stuff like that. But at least here in the state of California, there's a lot you can do. But guys are just lazy. And they also get shitty attorneys. You know what the first thing I would do would have been if I was him? I would have gone to every attorney in the state of California and had a consultation. And then this way, there's no way anybody could take your case. It'd be a conflict of interest. I would spend a week doing that. That's how fucking crazy I am.
That is smart. I thought you were going somewhere else with that, idea being, find the best one. But I like what you just said. That's smarter.
Oh, no. This way, it's like, oh, yeah, I already spoke to your husband. I can't take your case. She'd be like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, the first inkling of it, I would be on a plane, whatever it took. I'd be driving around, to every goddamn family attorney. Anyway, I should do a show on that. It's more fun.
You should, because, there are actually books out there. I mean, there's a book called Men on Strike, I think it is. And it's written by, some woman doctor of some sort that basically wrote a whole book as to why men are just, saying forget it when it comes to marriage because everything is so stacked heavily against them. And then if it goes wrong, I mean, you're familiar, I'm not to get into like pop culture or anything like that, but you're familiar with the actor John Schneider?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This guy he couldn't make his alimony payments. He actually had to go to jail because of it. I mean, so and I'm sure he didn't go into his marriage thinking, things are going to get so upside down that I might actually get thrown in jail, but he did. So
he's Bo Duke for crying out loud.
Yeah, I know.
He's Superman's father.
Well, yes, that's it.
Yeah, and he got thrown in jail because he couldn't keep up with the alimony.
This is like the He-Man's Women Haters Club.
Yeah.
All right, man. Listen, TJ, always a pleasure. Let us know what, do your research. Really take your time. My advice would be to tell your wife if you decide to have a transplant. Don't try to squeeze it in during the 6 weeks. And you might want to just step back from it and realize that you're doing well right now. You're probably going to, if you go to a good doctor, you're probably going to have a decent result, and I'm sure you'll be happy with it. But there's always that chance. It's cosmetic surgery that something is going to not go well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a good call.
All right, man.
Gentlemen, much appreciated for the time and the advice, and great catching up with you guys.
All right, man. You too. Great talking to you. Take care, man.
Take care, guys. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. We have a few more minutes. 888-659-3727 if you want to give us a phone call. We are here to try to help you with any hair loss problems. If you are considering surgery, if you have surgery scheduled, if you're like Angela who doesn't want to listen to us and have surgery anyway, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to talk to you and give you, the best possible advice we can give you. TJ is a guy who, this guy's had 3 surgeries. And he has an extremely natural result. But he had his first surgery was with a large chain clinic quite a long time ago when this large chain clinic was not doing, and that clinic is Bosley, was not doing what we would consider today to be state-of-the-art hair transplant surgery. They've certainly evolved tremendously over the years. And, as a matter of fact, they've evolved so much that they are really one of the few, the only group that is performing FUE hair transplant surgery in every state legally.
Yeah. That's an amazingly sad statement.
It is.
And not it has nothing to do with the company. But for anyone to be able to, I mean that could be like a tagline. Come see us. We're the only company legally performing hair transplants in all 50 states.
Yes. Well, that's not so funny. I told their marketing guy, I'm like, do you realize the leverage you have with this?
Yeah.
You're just leveraging the truth.
That's just ridiculous.
And you know what was funny? They kind of felt it was an uncomfortable thing for them. Your camera's off, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
I hate when they have
It's an uncomfortable thing for them. Everyone is just so uncomfortable. Telling the truth in this industry makes people uncomfortable. I don't understand that. That's why, essentially the 70s and the 80s and the 90s paved the way for what's happening today. The no fee, free, walk in, have a, no obligation consultation for free. I mean, this is fucking medicine. You guys are doctors. I mean, why on earth would you not charge for your time? That cheapens this incredibly nuanced discipline of cosmetic surgery. And you've turned it into a commodity. And people are like, they don't understand why. Oh, now everyone's just tire kicking. How has this happened? You guys led the way. And you opened up the doors for all these entrepreneurs and these device makers to essentially just swoop in and take over. You created the model. I try to say this to people in, say, the ISHRS or, I wrote an article about it. I'm trying to just, let people know that this is the reality, and there's only really one way to fix it at this point. But if people don't understand what the problem is, how the fuck are they going to exact or somehow find a solution? They can't.
Part of the issue isn't so much. I mean, that's the biggest problem is that they can't even identify what the real problem is. But
dude, my headset was falling out. It looked like I had a hearing aid in. Why didn't you tell me that?
I didn't even notice that. I was too busy getting my own camera back on. But I see almost like I can't say it's growing, but an unnecessary concern about what others are doing in the industry to be able to focus on the problem at hand. And it's such a frustrating thing to deal with and to see. And
I've never seen so many fuck ups and bad decisions made in one industry in such a short period of time as I have in the hair transplant industry.
Well, I know it's a big kumbaya moment to say it, but it's like I'm holding out. Actually, no, I'm not. I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see nothing more than the people that actually do give a shit about the industry to actually focus on changing the industry instead of worrying about what other people are doing. And
well, we're going to do that. I do not believe at this point, and I keep trying to, but I do not believe in this point. Those who are claiming to care about the industry give a shit about the industry. They care about some sort of bizarre power. They care, which they don't really have. They care about control. And like I always say, the more you try to control shit, the more control you lose. They are unwilling to play well with others. And you know what that leads to? That leads to extinction. That leads to just becoming a footnote in this field, because if there are people out there who are willing to do the right thing to turn this field around, and those who are not willing to work with those people, the people who aren't willing to work with those people are going to be left out.
Yep.
In the cold. That's just the way that it is. I see what's happening in the field today as a tremendous opportunity where everyone is panicking. We actually have the opportunity now to change things rapidly. Sadly, a lot of people are being fucked up today. Tomorrow morning, people are going to go in to have surgery, and they're going to be fucked up. They have no clue.
Yeah.
The guys that are having a million phone calls and sending emails and setting up meetings and doing this and that and talking behind each other's backs and conspiring and all the bullshit that happens are allowing these poor souls to walk into the lion's den and have their lives destroyed. And for anyone to say that what I'm saying is not true or somehow divisive or somehow polarizing or somehow inaccurate is a fucking liar. Sorry, Joe.
No.
I gotta listen. This is the way I operate. I gotta say my piece. We do this program. Everything I do is for everyone who's watching. Every article that I've written, every book that I've written, every organization that I founded is consumer-facing and consumer-friendly. It's for the consumer. If there are doctors out there who don't like us telling the truth, then they shouldn't be practicing in this industry. Because soon the truth is going to be the only shield that they have to defend their practices. And
including those of you in the UK watching this.
That's right. And if you don't understand how to utilize that weapon, leverage the truth, you're going to be done. You didn't have to leverage the truth before. The industry is different now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are, I don't even think there's 36 months left. The tsunami that is going to hit, right now I say this all the time, this is the calm before the storm. The tsunami that is going to hit is something that you guys will not be able to recover from. So you better get your liposuction machines and your fucking cool sculpting devices and your tattoo machines out, because that's what you're going to be doing for a living.
That's actually the truth, and that's sad.
Let's take one last phone call and call it a night.
All right.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. Dr. Cole.
You know, how fitting that the last call after that diatribe is Dr. Cole. How are you, man?
How's it going, Doc?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about what I'm saying? Say it again?
No, you're not wrong at all. You know, I'm really fortunate to have a lot of interest from patients, but there are a lot of docs that are kind of new and they're good. They're really good. And they're going to be adding liposuction and all kinds of other things because they're not going to be able to field enough patients. And unfortunately, the patients aren't going to be going to good doctors. They're going to be going to some of the worst doctors that ever hit the face of the planet because these doctors don't know anything about hair transplants. The techs are doing the whole surgery.
Well, that, and I would say that a lot of the old doctors, guys who are like in my age range and in your age range, guys that have been around for a long time, who didn't really invest in, learning how to do what is known as state-of-the-art hair transplant surgery, and guys who really didn't, they kind of just lived on the idea that, well, yeah, I mean, they kind of just rested on their laurels.
Leftovers, but
yeah.
There's no leftovers now.
Now it's done.
So those guys, you're absolutely right. They have nowhere to go. They're going to be the guys at Walmart.
Well, they're finished. These are the guys that are probably overextended, that are, they're going to have to add different devices into, to practice medicine. They're approaching 60, and unless they've invested well, they're in trouble because they are not. They will not survive.
And it's hard to knock them on the head and make them understand it. They better get busy and they better get something done about this mess. I know you've got a great formula, and there are a lot of docs looking at it, but people got to get involved because they're literally not going to be practicing hair transplant surgery on a full-time basis in a very short span of time.
Let's put it this way, Doc.
Unfortunately, the patients will suffer.
And I don't mind saying this publicly. 100 guys, that's all it would take. 200 would be better. But 100 guys would completely change the field. Now, the guys who aren't involved, you know what? Too bad for you. I'm sorry. But we will be able to change the field and really help the consumer. That's the bottom line. And
take the credit for it.
Yeah, and those who are with us will benefit. And that's it. There's so, everyone's worried about how to get leads, generate leads. We got to go on this website, go on that website. The reason you're struggling to generate more leads is because like you said, there's these machines, these turnkey devices popping up everywhere, and the leads that are being generated are just tire kickers. They're coming into your office from these mainstream plastic surgery websites, and they're like, yeah, so and so down the block can do my entire hair transplant for $3,000. What can you offer me?
Yeah,
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's already out there. I even get those calls.
You know who doesn't get those calls?
I've got enough of them. Oh yeah.
But you know who doesn't get those calls? I mean, they may get those calls, but I put that thing on the Facebook group with Dr. Sean Benham here in Los Angeles. He's one of the smartest guys out there. He tells me all the time. People look. I didn't make those point of purchase signs for him about his being in the IHRS and the AHLA. He did. He said it was the best thing he's ever done. And Joe, who worked as a consultant for years, what did you do, Joe, in your practice?
I would pull out brochures, and I would talk about how we were members of the American Hair Loss Association and IAHRS. Are the doctors you're talking about also members of those organizations?
It is the easiest thing in the world. I mean, not everyone can get in, but, people need to distinguish themselves now more than ever. And
100% agree.
And
100% agree.
And what's happening, though, Doc, is that the old guard is getting, for whatever reason, instead of saying, we're going to embrace this shit, we're going to come together and really work together, they seem to be getting more frightened. They feel like they're losing control that they don't even have.
More territorial.
More territorial. And they don't need to be. They can come along. Come on, join the fun. You can all be a part of it and learn how to do this right, and you guys can do well.
Yeah. They're becoming more combative rather than understanding that working with and through the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgery is the ticket. I mean, that is how patients are going to find high-quality doctors down the road.
And also,
and really
honestly, I believe FUE is going to have, even though for whatever reason it's not being looked at yet by some of the powers that be, as an important organization, I think it's going to have tremendous importance. And I like the idea of everyone working together. Organizations can have autonomy, but we have to all have a collective message that is pro-consumer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got a great band of guys at FUE. We just got the acceptance by the University of Patras to start a university-based accreditation training program in FUE. And we'll provide that service for both physicians and assistants, because assistants need to be good too. So, not only will it be IHRS, but we're going to actually certify doctors and make sure that the ones you find have been properly trained and they know their skill set.
Well, and that's the whole thing,
fantastic.
and that's what you and I discussed, that, and I'm glad that you discussed it even before we had the conversation, that you guys are going in this direction. But you and I discussed the importance of, listen, if technicians are going to be doing this surgery, as long as the consumer understands that and it's full disclosure, why not certify and train these people? Instead of trying to exclude them and turn them into pariahs, listen, they're going to be doing it anyway. And if they're not doing it, once it becomes illegal in all states here in the U.S., it's going to be PAs and NAs. And the PAs are going to be able to open up their own practices without doctors.
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
Get
ready. You'll be getting your hair transplant at the barbershop.
Absolutely. And there's already one here in L.A. And, that's the reality. And when I speak to guys like Ricardo Mejia, and I tell him that, I think it's, there's nothing wrong. I said it's cool that you're trying to change the nomenclature to from FUE or follicular unit extraction to follicular unit excision, to potentially inform patients that it's a surgical process and maybe it'll help with legislation. In the long run, it's not going to do anything. And I relayed this story to him, and I don't know if I relayed this to you, but I'm at the bar having a hamburger. I go there for lunch once in a while at the Peninsula Hotel, and there's this board-certified plastic surgeon that's always there. He has his lunch there as well. And, we know each other, we're talking, and he has a NeoGraft device. And as soon as this came out, we were talking about it, and his exact words were, I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon. How are they going to compete with me? So essentially, by saying that surgeons should only do surgery, and changing the nomenclature to make sure that this is known to be a surgical procedure, the surgeons who have actual surgical residencies, even if they don't know shit about hair transplants, are going to be able to use that as leverage against all of these idiots.
against the
Yeah, and that's
GPs
why
that
it's so
started surgery
important.
20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's why you need to leverage the IAHRS. Because I can assure you, this plastic surgeon doesn't know the first thing about hair transplant surgery.
Well, no, I will tell you this.
That's
I will tell you this. What I like about this guy is he consulted with me. He actually wanted to be on the IHRS. And I told him, look, dude, you need 500 cases. You just started. I suggested that he start with very small cases, working with eyebrows and maybe finding some sort of this guy ended up getting a makeup artist to work with him to help to design eyebrows. And he started to use the NeoGraft for doing eyebrows, and he learned how to extract himself. So he's doing very small cases, eyebrow cases, and they look pretty good, I got to say. So he's been using it to concentrate on females, and doing their eyebrows. So I think that was a good move, and then he's going to graduate to the scalp. And I think
that is a good move, and I think there are a lot of good hair transplant surgeons that were somewhat self-trained. But they didn't start out with 3,000 grafts. They started out with 50 grafts.
That's correct.
So
yeah.
So I mean, you can get there for sure.
Well,
but it takes 10,000 hours of experience to be an expert in anything.
Listen, you have the infrastructure now and the wherewithal and the willingness to kind of create the right training program. I have been speaking to Joe about this, and I don't know if this is going to come to fruition, but I have the possibility of, because I work with the NAD, I have the possibility of, and a connection with the ABMS. And it's my goal, if you guys actually are able to train people, which would be an international type of a situation, at least here in the United States, I would love to actually have true board certification for hair transplant surgery. The problem that we have is everyone's coming from so many different disciplines that the ABMS really couldn't understand that, but now they're working on different types of outreach programs, which I've been made privy to. I don't think there's anybody in the old guard that's going to be able to get this done. They've tried for years. I think it's possible that we can, and that would be incredible. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen.
Sure.
I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I can tell you that it is in the works, and it's my goal that even if it takes me 5 years to make this happen, to try to make this happen.
Right.
So, listen, I think we're on the right track. There's a lot of people who are on the right track. I wish that some of the guys that have the ears of some of the other physicians, especially here in the U.S. and some abroad, would just open up their minds and say, shit, you know what? Maybe there is a better way. And if we can attach ourselves and work with people who understand that, we have the opportunity to help a lot of people and continue to keep our doors open.
Well, absolutely. And I tell you, I want to commend you on your show always, and what you do to help patients, and you too, Joe, and Bola and Brian and Specs, all the guys that are out there working for the patients and trying to get them to the right doctors. And you're absolutely right. We have to leverage the IHRS. So keep up the good work, guys.
All right, Dr. Cole, listen.
Thanks, Dr. Cole.
Thank you so much for the call, and thanks for listening. I mean, it's so nice to know that there's actually some doctors listening.
Yeah, it's a great show. I enjoy it.
I appreciate it.
Callers are fantastic, by the way.
Thanks
a lot. Good questions, good answers. It's always interesting to me. Take care, guys.
I appreciate it. Take care. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Since Dr. Kowich is on, let's give out FUEmagazine.com, which is an online resource now that's actually it's an open source journal in hair transplant surgery, which really doesn't exist until now.
It's the first publication that is geared towards professionals in the industry and the consumers that go to them. And I think it's like, why didn't this happen before?
Because people don't want people to know the truth, and also
we know why.
There's also there's also kind of like this bizarre stigma attached to, like, I think that medicine in general really didn't understand how to get a grip on the online world, and they still don't.
I was going to say didn't or don't.
Yeah, and they still don't.
Yeah.
And having something that is essentially open source, that is something that both the medical community and the consumer who's interested in learning about what's going to be done to them is an incredible way to get the message out there. And it doesn't diminish the quality of the publication. I mean, eventually, the Journal of the American Medical Association will have to go in this direction.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, they're so big, it doesn't make a difference. You know, and you can get JAMA articles online. You have to, you know, subscribe and stuff like that. And I understand there's also a financial consideration when you're putting out a journal to put something online, you know, depending on, you know, if you want to take on sponsorship, stuff like that.
Right.
But I think the way things are starting, you know, and the way things have evolved from the first edition to the second edition, which is going to be out soon, is already a tremendous evolution. And it's only going to get more powerful. So that's FUE Magazine, guys. You can check that out, FUEmagazine.com. Also go to FUE, Europe. To check out that organization. The International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons is really a safe place that I founded almost 19 years ago now to start to do your research when you're considering surgical hair restoration. That's IAHRS.org. And of course, check out Joe Tillman's personal website, which is hairtransplantmentor.com. Find out everything you need to know, at least the true stuff, about Joe. and you know, watch his journey. He was really fucked up, man. That's why he's in this industry. And you know, to look the way that he looks right now, it's a fucking miracle.
And you know, the thing about it is, you know, I think back in my journey, and lately I've been thinking about it a lot more than usual. And you know, with everything going on in this industry right now, I'm more, I'll just say I'm more fortified or more emboldened to really drive home the message about how you, the consumers, you, the patients, you have to think about what you're doing if you're even remotely considering this surgery. Because, you know, when I got into this field as a patient, it was in the early 1990s, and the only thing we had to go on was the phone book. That was it. Interwebs didn't exist. I got repaired by a great doctor that just continued to do great work for me, and I wound up working for. And the industry was moving up into, I'll say, the true golden age of hair restoration. The results were the best they'd ever been. More people were doing great work than ever before. And then everything changed to the point where now, when you go online and you're looking for a hair transplant clinic or a hair transplant option, you will be besieged by marketing and ads that 9 times out of 10 will lead you to someone that will harm you, that will give you a result that you will regret paying for, and that you'll wind up spending more money to repair. And having been in that situation, and reflecting back on that, I'm more emboldened now than ever to tell you to don't do it. Stop, think about the possible downsides, which there are plenty, and until you recognize what those downsides are and compare those with the upsides, don't have a hair transplant. As I've been saying from the beginning on my hair transplant class, that's what that means. And so that's what this rant is about. I really find myself to be more concerned than ever about your well-being and the results that you're going to get if you decide to have this procedure. So tread carefully.
You're gonna make me cry. Jesus.
I'm telling you,
it's
horrible.
No, honestly, it is the worst time. I got into this when we were in a really dark time in hair transplant surgery. We were able to change the field within a 2-year period. I think we can do the same thing now.
Yeah.
But now there's even more resistance from doctors than ever before. It's the craziest fucking thing. They're actually going out of business.
Yeah.
Anyway, mention
going down fighting.
Talk to mention the other forums that we are now associated with as far as the show, and of course we're working together on getting the message out.
Of course, yeah. Bellycapelli.forumfree.it. I usually start with the other one first, but I'm going to start with them this time. That's bellycapelli.forumfree.it. That is an Italian-based hair loss and hair restoration forum, one of the largest in the world. And the great thing about this forum is that the management, the owner, is one of the good guys. As he likes to say, I'm just a guy. What we like to say is, you're not fucking insane.
Right.
You're not a psychopath. You're a good guy. And like me, he was a repair patient that found his own answer and got repaired. And he started this forum because of his passion that had developed, just like me. And I'm glad to call him a friend. I've known him for many years, and he's one of the good guys. That's bellycapelli.forumfree.it. You can still go there and check things out because any modern-day browser will translate it in English for you. After that, we've got hairlossexperiences.com. That is primarily a UK-based website, but being the interwebs, we can all get access to it. And thankfully, we are, because both Belly Capelli and Hair Loss Experiences are growing like weeds, which is a good thing. And again, like Belly Capelli, the owner is a repair patient and he cares. He's a good guy. He's not a psychopath, which is really bizarre that I even have to say that, but it's true. He's one of the good guys, and he works with us, supports our message, and both of those forums allow us to stream our broadcast through their web properties. So go to both websites and express your gratitude for them spreading the message.
And also, it's important that you guys know these are not.
How's that?
That's great. Well done. I'll put down a loop.
I lost the sound.
These are not toxic environments.
I completely cannot hear you.
Again?
No. I got nothing.
That is so weird. Well, you don't have to.
There's a little bit of static. Wait, you're coming through.
I'm coming through now. What's going
Nothing.
on? I'm not even going to go into my computer, so just you wait. Guys, I know that you can hear me. So
there you are. Now I got you.
Now you got me.
That's bizarre.
What was I going to say?
And now I just lost you again.
These are not toxic environments. That's the thing. Most message forums are. Sadly, I have to say that, again, I blame the physicians as well for the entire toxicity of this industry. Those who have supported many people in the field who've actually created the blueprint of toxicity in this industry, which is now transferring to mainstream social media, where they are taking posts from toxic forums and putting it on mainstream social media to try to disparage really good doctors. This is a disgusting place. It has to end. Doctors have to know who they're supporting and how it's going to affect them in the long term as well. That's very important. BaldTruthTalk.com, that is our message forum. Look, it's a tight ship. We don't take any shit on Bald Truth Talk. It's one and done. You make a mistake, you're out. It's heavily moderated. We do not allow for the toxic bullshit to be on the site. We have a real complaint system. If you have a complaint about a physician, that complaint has to be verified. If it's not a verified complaint, it didn't happen. That's how we look at it. If someone goes out there and posts their images and is proud of their pictures, who are you to fucking say that their work sucks? Keep that to yourself. If they're asking you specific questions about something, then great, answer their questions. But if they're like, hey, I had a great result, I'm really happy with this, and then all of a sudden you say, that looks like dog shit, how do you think that would make you feel? Anyway, sorry, Joe, that you can't hear me. Guys, we're going to call it a night. Until next time, the American Hair Loss Association is AmericanHairLoss.org. The Bald Truth, thebaldtruth.com for archives of this broadcast. Download the show on iTunes and subscribe. Subscribe to Joe's page. So much shit that we got to talk about. Subscribe to Joe's page, which is youtube.com/hairtransplantmentor, and ring that bell. His subs are going through the roof, and it's happening quickly. have a little news. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for this or not, but may take the opportunity to get back on terrestrial radio in New York City. Just got an offer that I may not be able to refuse. It will be a separate broadcast just for the New York tri-state area on radio. But what does that do? That brings more people onto our broadcast. So that's exciting news. Until next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.
I always hear a lot of guys calling in, and they're always like, down and out about their haircuts.
Sure.
I lost my hair when I was 16 to 17 years old.
That's heavy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man. And the funny thing is that I've learned to overcome it, and I've had a much I'm much more empowered to